So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do the seed stitch. The seed stitch is a combination of trebles and doubles, that's UK terminology, alternated to give you this lovely sort of gritty texture to your work. Not many gaps in this unless you sort of pull it apart, so it's a nice tight stitch for you to use if you're wanting to make blankets or scarves or anything that really floats your boat, that is something you maybe want to do with double crochet or treble crochet, but you'd like something a little bit more interesting than just the basic stitches. So let's get on with the video. Hello, my name's Karen Stangram and welcome to Conquer Crochet, the channel for tips, tricks and techniques for conquering your crochet. Everything I talk about in today's video will be linked in the descriptions below. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. So if you're keen to get going with this video, give me a thumbs up and let's do this. So for this tutorial I'm using a double knit yarn. This is the Aqua So Crafty from Aldi. I'm going to be using a 4.5mm crochet hook, 4.5. I have my scissors to cut off my end and my needle to sew in my ends. So we're going to start off with a slip knot and a foundation chain. And if you're not familiar with these, I'll put a link in the descriptions below of how you can do different slip knots so you can find the style that suits you, and also how to crochet the chain. So we yarn over and pull back through the slip knot, and that gives us one chain. We need to do multiples of 2 for this stitch, so I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. So I'm just going to do 20 in my foundation chain, but you can make this as long or as short as you'd like it to be. So pause the video now whilst you make your foundation chain. So this seed pattern is basically a combination of trebles and doubles. So the treble would be a double in the US terminology and a double is a single in US terminology. I use UK terminology throughout my videos. I do have a link in the descriptions below if you would like to download my Conquer Crochet project folder, which has lots of helpful tips and cheat sheets that you can keep either on your phone or you could print out to have in your project bags to help you with conversions, not only between stitches but also between different types of yarn, different types of names for the different sizes of hooks, and lots of other things that you might find interesting there. So I'll pop that in the descriptions below. So the first 3 chains that we have from our hook are going to count as our first treble, and they're going to give us the height for this piece of work. So we're going to do our first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. We don't count the one on the hook, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we insert our crochet hook, yarn over, pull through. You should have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on your hook. In the next stitch we're going to do a treble, so we yarn over, then we insert, yarn over again and pull back through that chain. You should have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull back through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2. In the next stitch we're going to do a double crochet. In the next stitch we do a treble. In the next stitch we do a double. In the next stitch we do a treble, and we continue this way all the way down our row. So pause the video now whilst you work your way down to the end of the row, and I will meet you at the end. So I'm coming up to the end here. I've done a treble and I'm going to finish with a double crochet. If you're not finishing on a double crochet, you've dropped a stitch or you've missed something somewhere along the lines. So you start off with the treble, you finish with the double. Okay, for the next row then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This counts as a treble, and because it counts, we're not going to work into that first gap there because it belongs to this stitch here. So we're going to be working in the next one, and essentially you'll have a treble on top of a double. So we had a double as our last stitch, there's a treble on top. So our next stitch then needs to be a double crochet. Then we need to do a treble, then a double, then a treble, and we do this all the way down the row, alternating between the double crochet and the treble crochet. Double crochet and a treble crochet. So pause the video whilst you get to the end of your row, and I will see you at the end. So I come to the end of my row with my treble, and I just need to do one double crochet into the top of what was that 3-turn chain at the very beginning. So we're going in through both of these parts here. That's one part. There we go. So it's the top of that 3 chain, and we do a double crochet to finish off the row. So as I said before, you must finish your row off on a double crochet, otherwise you've gone wrong somewhere. Okay, so to start the next row then, we're going to chain 3. Remember that chain 3 counts. It's above a single crochet, a double crochet, so we're going to work into the next stitch along, because this one belongs to this stitch here. So that's a treble, we're going to do a double, and we have a treble, and then we have a double. And essentially that's what the pattern is all the way through, is alternating between trebles and doubles, making sure you finish your row on a double, and then your chain 3 at the beginning will count as a treble stitch. So you need to make sure you're not going into that first little space, you're going to go into the next stitch, because that first space counts as the treble stitch, and if you go into that first space you'll find you have too many stitches and your work will start to go out at an angle. And we want to try and keep nice straight sides, as straight as we can get for our crochet blocks. So again, finishing on a double, you chain 3, you turn our work so we don't go in here, otherwise we end up with 2 extra stitches and we'll end up going out. We want to keep it nice and straight down the sides, so we're going to go into that second stitch, not this one here. So I'm just going to do a few more rows so you can see how it works up when there's a few more rows to see how the pattern looks, and I will join you in a second. So I've done a few more rows just so you can see how the pattern looks when you have a little bit more there to judge. So it's quite a nice dense pattern. You don't get all the sort of gaps and spaces you would have if you were doing just trebles, and it adds a bit more texture to it than if you were just doing double crochets. It's the same on the front and back because we're doing the same thing back and forth. So it's a reversible pattern, so ideal if you're wanting to make lap blankets, or if you want to make a scarf that's going to fold over on itself, then it will look the same on both sides. So that's how to do the seed stitch. I really hope you found today's tutorial useful. If there are any information that you need to find out about this video, have a look in the descriptions below where I post all the links to any freebies and other videos I think you might find useful. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed this video, to give me a thumbs up below. Don't forget also to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you've enjoyed it and you'd like to see more of my tutorial videos. There are 2 other videos on screen to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you over there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!